The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. Eric Cooper, S-4 Radio, on Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, gets deep into the paranormal.
Good evening or morning, depending where you are, and welcome to S4, the voice of Forest Moon Paranormal, coming to you live from the FMP headquarters in the beautiful mountains of Concrete, Washington, and the North Cascades. FMP is a highly active emergency response team for all aspects of the paranormal, from aggressive hauntings to alien interaction, Bigfoot, and other cryptids. And everything in between is terrifying. Yes, we talk about everything. S4 is the voice where we discuss these things in detail. You can find S4 on Night Dreams Talk Radio, found at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. We are also on terrestrial radio with KSVU 90.1 FM for our local listeners from 10 to 12 p.m. every Saturday night with our pre-recorded shows. So tonight, it's January 12th. Actually, technically, it's the 13th now. And we're moving on into 2019. So tonight, in light of the fact it's been a really rough winter, folks. And, you know, I don't know about you, Megan. How many days did you guys lose power?
Oh, man. Combined? Probably 8 total in December, and November was probably another handful. So, I mean, a good week combined without power.
Right. And that's why... That's why tonight we're actually talking. We were supposed to talk winter prep, I think, last week or the week after. And in light of this crazy weather that I know Cole had as well. Cole?
Yeah, I did. I was there.
Oh, you know, and what really is bad is, and I'm getting off script here, but I've got to say, you know, if you live in town, if you live in the town of Concrete, for example, they have power, I believe, by the second day. And, you know, they go where the population is. I get that. But I think the big issue is if they actually did, you know, preventive maintenance, they wouldn't have the issues they got. You know, the same branches, but you don't see, you know, we pay for our power. That's just the bottom line. And when it really comes down to it, if we're paying for our power, then they need to fix it. They need to be a lot more proactive. They need to be a lot better as far as us having power. Because this is the first winter, I've got to say, that we've actually been, you know, 4 days straight. And there's been years where you go a week straight. So it's kind of important. For the first hour, we're going to actually talk about winter preparation. We have a lot of new folks that move to Concrete weekly to the upriver community where the FMP headquarters are. And when it comes down to it, winter is winter, disasters are disasters. It doesn't matter if you're in Uganda or if you're in Texas, Florida, or Spain. A disaster is always going to be the same response. So with that, tonight we have Michael Hall from the UFOI team. We have Cole Wegleitner with FMP. He's our culture and lore specialist. And we have Megan, our Marine and FMP security. So how are we doing, guys?
Excellent.
Doing good.
Great.
So for the first hour, we're going to talk winter prep, and then the second hour, we're actually going to do what we do best and talk about UFOs and what's going on in 2019 as far as, I don't know. I know you've been doing a lot of research, Megan, but what do you think about the first 2 weeks of January when it comes to UFO sightings?
They've been very heated. Very heated. I actually saw something that I could not identify or confirm. So, in the last 2 weeks. So
the same day as the team meeting, as a matter of fact.
Yes. So actually, it was last week, and it was one of those fireball things. So I know it was not a commercial aircraft. So, but there's been no other reports about it. So, what can I say? It was something unidentified.
Right, and we're jumping off topic, but I've got to say, for the first 2 weeks of January, it's been a crazy. So much for disclosure. The UFOs are just coming out, whether you're ready for them or not.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that, Michael?
Well, I think you're exactly right. Matter of fact, there's been some amazing sightings just so far that Peter Davenport has been telling us about. So the year is starting off with a bang, big time. I think it would be worth our while tonight to maybe have Megan explain to us again her sighting and the details of it, because that was just fascinating what she saw the other night. And I think people would... I have a feeling that people all over the country in different parts of the world are seeing the same kind of thing. And it would be interesting for them to corroborate Megan's sighting with something that they might have seen as themselves.
Right? Yeah, go ahead, Megan.
Okay, can you hear me? I had you muted.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's, let's see, a request out of the chat room saying Mr. Cooper needs to turn up his sound.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, wasn't sure. So
I also want a beard update.
Oh, yeah, you want to do the beard update?
The beard is growing.
Okay, so last Saturday, approximately at 5:09 p.m. Pacific time, I was traveling southbound on I-5 right there by the Washington State Patrol weigh-in station for the semi-trucks between the two Stanwood exits, and I saw out of my peripheral a very ochre, amber, almost orange disc light. There we go. Light. And it was hovering above the tree line. It was approximately about 500 feet off the actual deck. It was over a wooded area. As soon as I looked at it and kind of like really acknowledged its presence, it disappeared. It did not shoot off. It did not blink or anything. And it never reappeared. And from where I was in the vehicle traveling to the location, it was probably within 2 miles. So for it to be that low and that close, the size of it was very small. So, again, no blinking. It was a very steady light, and it was very bright, but it didn't have a halo or anything to it. It wasn't like a laser light. It was a encapsulated, self-contained light. And as soon as I acknowledged it, it literally just went to black. And the whole time I was driving, the rest of the 20 minutes for my travel time, I was looking in that same area to see if it would reappear or if I could see anything else. And nothing else ever appeared, or, not even like a flyby over the freeway or anything. And at that time on Saturday evening, the freeway was packed, and it was right over a very large city. I'm talking probably 25,000 people live within the Stanwood area. And yeah, it should have been more reported if it was something substantial, but it was just so peculiar. And I did look on the flight tracker, and there was no reported crafts in the area. So that is what I saw. Like I said, I can't identify it. It was not a commercial craft, so there you have it. A ornithopile fireball, in the size of it, if anybody has looked at Venus lately in the morning sky, it was probably about twice the size of Venus, the glow of Venus. So, I mean, it was small. It was small, but it was very apparent in the sky. But it was larger than any aircraft light that I've even seen. So, it was larger than a spotlight per se, but it didn't have that illumination effect that a spotlight would, if that makes sense.
Well, and the fact that it disappeared when you acknowledged it shows intelligence. It shows intelligent design.
Yeah, that's the creepiest part of it. Because I went, what are you? Like, what are you?
Trippin is saying that it could be a reflection off a car. The problem with that is any reflection within your windshield, due to the windshield being made out of two pieces of glass, will give off a halo automatically.
So, being it's me, I was sitting there bobbing my head all up in the windshield trying to see if I could replicate it. Because the other thing is, I told this to my husband, and he said, well, there's been that flash burn on the hill outside of Mount Vernon. I said, no, it was the opposite side. I said it was the water side, because where Stanwood is, it goes down to an area called Warm Beach, and it was over the wooded area before you get to Warm Beach. So there's no mountains out there. It is literally a patch of forest and then a bay. So the hills are on the opposite side of the freeway. I was actually looking westerly, and the hills are on the east side of I-5.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And the
Eric, we lose you?
I lost him. Hello?
We lost him.
Uh-oh.
Well, we've got ourselves. At least we can keep talking here, it looks like. But
yeah, absolutely.
You know what, Megan? That sounded like, from the angle that you're describing, was that basically kind of hovering over the Warm Beach area, do you think?
Yes. I'm not sure if it would have been over the water, but it very well could have been. Because if you go I-5 as the crow flies, it is water. Now, travel time, it takes you about 5 miles, but you kind of divert and then come back a little bit.
Right.
So, but as the crow flies, it would have been within 2 miles. And the object was not that far away from me, but I totally negated any type of reflection within the vehicle. And I did keep in mind that because I was passing the way station and they do have lights,